Sam Jenkins' first step out of the shuttle landed him smack in the middle of what felt like a dream, or a particularly vivid virtual reality simulation. The G'woon Galactic Zoo sprawled before him like a scene lifted straight from a sci-fi blockbuster, with biodomes glowing under alien suns and floating guide drones buzzing through the air, emitting a sound that suspiciously resembled chuckling. Wide-eyed, Sam nearly collided with one of the drones, which beeped indignantly and darted away. "Watch it, Earthling," a voice chuckled from behind him. Turning around, Sam found himself facing his new boss, Zara, a tequil whose iridescent skin shimmered brilliantly in the sunlight. Her expression was one of amusement, tinged with a hint of skepticism as she sized him up. "Sam Jenkins, I presume?" Zara extended a hand, or more accurately, a tentacle, which Sam shook tentatively, unsure of the proper etiquette. "Yes, ma'am." "Reporting for duty," Sam replied, his voice laced with nervous enthusiasm. "I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. The brochure didn't do this place justice." Zara's lips, or what Sam assumed were her lips, twitched upwards in a semblance of a smile. Thrilled might soon turn into overwhelmed. "Let's get started with your tour." As they strolled through the complex, Zara listed off Sam's responsibilities, her voice echoing in the vast expanse filled with the distant calls of mysterious creatures. "Your first task is relatively simple, feeding the Fluffoids. They're docile, but have a tricky diet. You'll find the details in the manual." Upon reaching the enclosure labelled Fluffoids, Sam peered inside at the fluffy, multi-eyed creatures that resembled a cross between oversized cotton balls and puppies. They bounced excitedly upon noticing their new caretaker. "They seem simple enough," Sam remarked, scratching his head as he glanced at the feeding instructions on his digital clipboard. "Don't be fooled by their appearance," Zara cautioned, pointing a tentacle at the manual on his clipboard. "Last week, they ate their feeding schedule. Literally. Make sure to read the manual thoroughly this time. We wouldn't want another Glorpian incident, would we?" Sam's cheeks tinged pink as he recalled the mishap during his training week, where a minor misreading led to a memorable chaos involving a Glorpian mud squasher. "Understood. No eating the feeding schedules," he quipped, hoping to mask his embarrassment with a bit of humour. "Exactly," Zara responded, her tone dry but not unkind. "I'll leave you to it then." "Remember, Sam, the Fluffoids might look harmless and fluffy, but they're cleverer than they appear. Never underestimate them." With a nod, Zara departed, merging back into the shimmering light of the zoo's artificial environment. Sam took a deep breath, faced the eager Fluffoids, and muttered to himself, "All right, little guys, let's keep this straightforward and by the book." As he prepared their specialized dietary mix, Sam couldn't shake the feeling that in a place as wonderfully bizarre as the G'woon Galactic Zoo, simple was likely to be anything but. His smile returned and a surge of excitement bubbled within him. After all, wasn't a bit of chaos part of the grand adventure he had signed up for? Sam Jenkins figured that if he was going to win over the zoo staff and his new alien charges, he needed to nail his first big task. Standing before the enclosure of the Fluffoids, he glanced at the feeding manual, then back at the bucket of specially formulated feed designed to meet their complex dietary needs. The feed looked incredibly bland. Maybe just a little something extra to make it more appealing, he mused aloud, deciding to ignore the manual's explicit instructions for precise measurements. With a dash of what he assumed was a harmless Fluffoid dietary supplement, which was, in reality, a potent growth stimulant, Sam stirred the mixture vigorously. "They'll love this," he chuckled, pouring the enhanced concoction into the feeding trough. Almost instantly, the Fluffoids reacted. They consumed the feed with such fervour that Sam initially swelled with pride, until he noticed something alarming. The creatures began to quiver, puff up, and, to his horror, split into two. Within minutes, the enclosure was swarming with twice as many Fluffoids as before. "Oh, no, no, no," Sam muttered, frantically flipping through the manual. "This can't be happening." At that moment, Glix, the Martian zoologist with a penchant for Earth humour, strolled by. He peered into the enclosure, a grin unfolding across his face. "Having a bit of a multiplication problem, Sam." "This isn't funny, Glix. I just added a little something extra to their food," Sam replied, watching in dismay as the Fluffoids continued their replication frenzy. Leaning against the fence, Glix's laughter resonated through the increasingly crowded space. "Oh, it's a bit funny. You humans always think more is better. Let me guess, you added the fission flakes?" Sam's eyes widened. "Fission flakes?" But the label said Fluffy Feed Supplement. With a sigh, Glix pulled out his communicator to call for backup. "That's our nickname for it. Didn't you read the manual's appendix?" He paused, then added with a smirk, "Oh, right, you humans like to learn by trial and error." As the enclosure teemed with an excess of energetic Fluffoids, Sam tried various humorous methods to corral them, from attempting to herd them with a makeshift broom to using a series of shiny objects to distract them. Each attempt ended in slapstick failure, only increasing the chaos and the amusement of the onlooking staff and visitors. "I need a real solution, Glix." "Not commentary," Sam shouted over the din of squeaking Fluffoids. Eventually, Glix composed himself and joined Sam inside the enclosure. "All right, let's use the containment grid. It'll separate them into smaller groups so they can't keep splitting." Together, they activated the grid, and gradually, the Fluffoids began to settle, their division rate slowing as the effects of the fission flakes wore off. Once the situation was under control, Glix clapped Sam on the back. "You know, this will make a great story at the next staff meeting. Sam Jenkins and the Day of Doubling." Sam, catching his breath, could only groan. "Let's make sure there isn't a next time." As they walked away from the enclosure, Glix continued. "You'll get the hang of it, Sam. But maybe stick to the manual next time, yeah?" Sam nodded, a sheepish grin forming as he replied, "Yeah, sticking to the manual sounds like a much better plan." This chaotic ordeal reinforced Sam's determination to adhere to alien protocols, no matter how peculiar they seemed. It was a lesson learned the hard way, but one that would humorously define his earnest journey through the complexities of interstellar zookeeping. After the Fluffoid debacle, Sam Jenkins was relieved to shift his focus from the intricacies of alien animal care to the seemingly safer realm of cultural exchange. The zoo had orchestrated a special day designed for staff and visitors to share and celebrate their diverse heritages. This initiative by the G'woon Galactic Zoo aimed to foster deeper connections, not just among the species on display, but also between the caregivers and visitors from across the galaxy. As Sam made his way to the cultural pavilion, he was filled with a blend of excitement and relief. Today, no creatures would double in size under his watch. Instead, he was in charge of hosting a booth about Earth's wildlife, a topic he was intimately familiar with. The booth was lively, decorated with holographic images of Earth's diverse ecosystems, jungles, deserts and oceans, a vivid showcase of his home planet's biodiversity. "Earth really is a gem, isn't it?" Zara remarked, appearing beside the booth quietly, perhaps as a gesture of goodwill after their last frenetic encounter. "It sure is." "Today, I'm sticking to what I know best," Sam responded, greeting her with a bright smile. "No surprises today, just good old Earth fun. How about learning to plant an Earth-style garden?" As they engaged in crafting miniature replicas of Earth trees, visitors from various planets gathered around. Sam discussed Earth's conservation efforts, interspersing his talk with light-hearted stories about his own gardening misadventures back home. His humorous anecdotes about duels with backyard squirrels elicited laughter and nods of empathy, even from those whose worlds were devoid of both squirrels and gardens. Next door, Glix manned a booth that displayed the geological marvels of Mars. Curious, Sam strolled over during a quiet moment at his own booth. Glix was demonstrating a virtual reality experience that simulated walking through Martian canyons. "Glix, this is incredible!" "It feels like you're actually there," Sam exclaimed, removing the VR headset, his expression one of genuine thrill. Glix chuckled. "I'm glad you enjoyed it. You should visit Mars for real sometime. It's definitely less chaotic than managing the zoo here, I promise." Their friendly exchange was suddenly interrupted by an alarm from the nearby Andromedan booth, where a cultural artifact had begun to levitate unexpectedly. Sam and Glix hurried over to assist, only to discover that the artifact's levitation was a normal part of the exhibit. "It seems I'm not the only one stirring up chaos," Sam joked to the Andromedan exhibitor, who replied with a musical laugh that echoed melodiously through the air. The remainder of the day was filled with more laughter, stories, and cultural sharing. Sam felt a strong sense of community as he interacted with beings from different corners of the universe, each sharing a slice of their culture. The atmosphere buzzed with alien music, the aroma of exotic foods, and the bright colours of traditional garments. As the cultural exchange wound down, Zara approached Sam while he was tidying up his booth. "You did well today, Sam. It seems you're quite the hit when you stick to what you know," she noted, her earlier skepticism softened by a hint of admiration. "Thanks, Zara. I guess today was about learning that sometimes the best way to avoid chaos is simply to share a bit of yourself," Sam reflected, now feeling more comfortable in his role. "Exactly," Zara concurred. "And maybe let others share themselves with you without any unexpected additions." With the pavilion quieting down, Sam looked around at the dispersing booths, feeling a newfound camaraderie with his fellow zookeepers and visitors. Today had shown him that amidst the universe's vast diversity, there was a universal yearning to connect, to laugh, and to learn from each other, an enlightening and truly enriching experience. After a day steeped in cultural camaraderie, Sam Jenkins was primed for a change of pace. The next event at the G'woon Galactic Zoo was the Strategy Games, a celebrated series of competitions that tested not just the intellect, but the adaptability of participants from various worlds. Known across galaxies for their intricate rules and the deep strategic thinking they required, these games were a highlight of the zoo's calendar. The main event was set to take place in the Cosmic Strategy Hall, a grand arena outfitted with holographic displays capable of simulating a multitude of gaming environments. Curious and eager to learn, and perhaps hoping to redeem himself from earlier misadventures, Sam volunteered to assist in managing the games. Upon entering the hall, Sam was struck by the intense focus within. Beings of all shapes and sizes were engrossed in games involving complex board setups and multidimensional movement strategies. At the heart of the hall was the Grand Galactic Chess, a variant that involved 4 players and 3 levels, making it a favourite among strategic aficionados. "Sam, over here!" Glix called out, overseeing a particularly tense match. Sam hurried over, his eyes wide with intrigue. "These are the final rounds. Pay close attention. The tactics here are unlike anything you've encountered before," Glix whispered, pointing towards the board where 4 individuals from different planets were deeply engrossed in their moves. Sam observed a player from Neptulia, a water-based planet, cleverly manipulate her aquatic pieces to flow into her opponent's territory, a move that was met with nods of approval and subtle applause from the audience. Each piece moves according to the environmental rules of its player's homeworld. "It's not just a game, it's a dance of cultures," Glix explained. Captivated, Sam leaned in closer, noting how each player brought not only strategic prowess to the table, but also a piece of their home culture. He was mesmerized by the complexity and the beauty of it all. On the sidelines, Sam noticed Zara engaged in a deep discussion with Milo Rax, the respected Zephyrian judge known for his adherence to fair play. Curious, Sam approached them during a break. "Enjoying the games?" Zara asked, noticing Sam. "Absolutely," Sam replied. "It's like witnessing a masterclass in strategy and diplomacy." Milo chuckled, his eyes twinkling. "Diplomacy is right. These games are as much about understanding your opponent as they are about outsmarting them." Encouraged by their interest, Sam asked, "Do you think strategy games like these could help someone like me? You know, improve at handling unexpected situations at the zoo?" "Definitely," Milo responded warmly. "Strategy isn't just about planning, it's about adapting to new challenges on the fly, much like your daily tasks here." Inspired, Sam spent the remainder of the day immersing himself in every move and strategy, engaging with the players, and learning about the rationale behind their decisions. Each conversation broadened his understanding of the myriad thought processes that spanned across galaxies. As the games wrapped up, Sam felt a newfound respect for strategic thinking. He joked with Glix as they left the hall. Maybe next time, I'll enter the competition. How about Sam Jenkins, the strategic mastermind? Glix laughed, giving Sam a friendly pat on the back. Let's stick to mastering the zoo first, Earthling. Walking back under the stars of Zubia, Sam felt more connected to his role at the zoo. The games had shown him that with the right strategy and a bit of understanding, perhaps he could navigate the chaos of his job, transforming unexpected events into opportunities for growth and learning. As the final day of the Galactic Olympics at the G'woon Galactic Zoo dawned, a bittersweet atmosphere enveloped the event. It was tinged with the inevitable melancholy of farewells, but illuminated by the promise of new beginnings. The closing ceremony was less about competition and more a celebration of the bonds of friendship and understanding forged throughout the week. As the stadium filled for the last time, Sam Jenkins found a moment of calm, surveying the diverse assembly of beings united in the spirit of camaraderie. Zara approached, her iridescent form reflecting the colourful ceremony lights. Sam, I must admit, you've surprised us all. This week has been enlightening, she said, her tone warmer than Sam had ever heard before. Chuckling, Sam scratched the back of his head. Well, I guess it took a bit of chaos for me to find my footing here. Thanks for not firing me after that Fluffoid mishap. Zara's smile was genuine, reaching her eyes. You've shown that there's value in every perspective, even the most unconventional ones. The zoo could use that kind of insight. The ceremony commenced with a parade featuring all participants, each species proudly displaying their native flags alongside the zoo's banner, a symbol of their collective journey. As Earth's flag passed by, Sam felt a surge of pride for his home planet and for himself, bridging the gap between Earth and the stars. Glix joined them, his eyes on the procession. I've never seen the zoo this vibrant. You've brought something unique to us, Sam. Thanks, Glix. Just trying to keep things interesting, Sam replied, his eyes twinkling with a hint of mischief. As the speeches began, leaders from various worlds took turns at the podium, each reflecting on the week's events. They spoke of peace, the future, and the role of institutions like the G'woon Galactic Zoo in promoting intergalactic harmony. Sam listened intently, realizing the deep interconnections that bound everyone together despite the vast distances of space that normally separated them. Zara took the stage to officially close the Olympic Games. As she spoke, fireworks burst in the sky, a spectacular display of lights that mirrored the diversity of the crowd below. After the ceremony, as the crowd started to thin, Zara turned to Sam. How would you feel about leading our new intercultural initiative? You clearly have a knack for this. Surprised, Sam's eyes widened. Really? I'd love to. Seems like I've got a knack for stirring things up. Might as well use it for something big. Exactly, Zara laughed. Let's stir up the universe, one cultural exchange at a time. As they walked away together, discussing future plans, Sam felt a profound sense of belonging. The zoo was no longer just his workplace. It was his gateway to the universe, and he was eager to explore it all, one chaotic, beautiful step at a time. Please subscribe for more interesting stories,